It's time for another episode of the 12-Man Fan Jam Show, a show made by 12s from around the world, for 12s around the world. I'm Mozette, and here is your host and my dad, the self-appointed Reverend Moses of the St. Paul Island Church of Seahawk Positivity.
Yes, thank you, Mozette, and welcome to episode 725, the 7th season finale and Fan Jammy Awards Special Edition of your 12-Man Fan Jam Show as we get ready to close down the 2019 season. And what can I tell you? Do you win Super Bowls in the first three quarters, San Francisco? No. You have to win in the fourth, don't you? But we'll talk about that later. Let's introduce the posse, a little skeleton crew tonight. First, it is, of course, Shadowhawk Will is here. Hi, Will.
Hi, Moses. How are you?
I am fantastic, sir. You look very well dressed for our award show.
Oh, thank you. And if this is a season finale, should we have a cliffhanger like Who Shot Dustin or something?
You know, we actually do have a cliffhanger in a way. I think we could find one. And we'll talk about that in a minute. But first, yeah, let's talk about Dustin. Because I think, who is that over there? Is that Dustin? Hi, Dustin. How you doing?
I'm good. How are you doing?
I'm doing great. What's new?
Not a lot. Not a lot.
Not a lot. How's Kona, the 12-Man Fan Jam Show mascot, Kona?
Oh, she's doing good. She's outside of this room anyways, behaving, and we have some wild dogs out in the backyard at the neighbor's house. It's like freaking Pitbull Wild Kingdom over there, and they're
that's all right.
Yipping and yapping, and she's not reacting, so
that's good.
Yeah.
She's a good girl.
You know, Dustin, it's sad that entire families can be ripped apart by something as simple as wild dogs. Jack Handy, ladies and gentlemen.
Nice. Jack Handy reference. The two that are missing from our season finale are, of course, Matt from Merry Old England and Statsman Mark. Statsman Mark could not be with us. He is currently dining on the tears of the 49er fans around him. And Matt, well, I thought he had the coronavirus, but he just drank too many Coronas, so... But suddenly... Or did he? We don't know. That was for Mark, his little tiki sound that he loves so much. Guys, we're at the end of the season. For us, the 7th season. And all it really means is we're going to do a show in a month anyway. But this is the official end of this NFL season with the Seattle Seahawks. So let's get started on the show. Sweet. All right, fellas. Let's go. Yes, the show is run just like a real NFL football game. 4 quarters and a halftime. First quarter, will catch us up on the news around the NFL. Quarter 2 is our 2019 Seahawks season recap. We'll talk about the good and the bad of the offense and the defense from the season. Halftime is our 7th annual 12-Man Fan Jam Show Awards, or the Fan Jammies, as we call them around here. Quarter 3, we will take some of the upcoming free agents of the Seattle Seahawks, put them together, and say you can only have one, and another wonderful edition of There Can Be Only One. And finally, quarter 4, we'll talk about our final lasting memories from the season and give out a few thank yous and a few salutes. Sign off for season 7 and get ready for season 8. Before we start, we'd like to remind you to like, share, subscribe to the Seahawk Positivity YouTube channel, join our Facebook group, 12-Man Fan Jam Show. A lot of fun stuff on there we're going to have during the off season. One year we had a summer giveaways. I'm just saying that may or may not rear its ugly head again. We'll see over the off season. We're also on Twitter at Seahawk Positivity, email 12manfanjamshow@gmail.com. This show is always available on Podbean and iTunes for your listening enjoyment as well. All right, let's get to the first quarter and news. Yes, news from around the NFL with our news hound, Shadowhawk Will. It's the 12-Man Fan Jam Show News Report brought to you by this week's sponsor, the San Francisco 49er dollar bill, only worth 3 quarters. Will, what you got for us?
Well, Moses, I have certain favorites when it comes to doing these news segments, and for a while it was Johnny Manziel, and now he's out of the league, and nobody cares about him anymore. So I think my new favorite has got to be Antonio Brown.
That's a good choice. That's a good choice.
And Brown recently has been on trying to do a bit of a redemption tour. He did an ESPN interview. He did a radio interview in Pittsburgh where he apologized to the team. But Well, Antonio Brown has been found liable for damage to an apartment in Miami that was in connection with the incident that culminated in Brown allegedly throwing furniture out the window and nearly hitting a toddler and his grandfather. Brown had argued that his former trainer was responsible for the damage. The court disagreed. The next phase of the proceedings will determine how much he has to pay, but Brown doesn't have any money coming in, but now he's got money going out.
Oh, Antonio Brown has become our new Johnny Manziel, hasn't he?
He has.
He really has. And,
Yeah.
It's just, you got to wonder if he really does have some mental issues or if he's just a complete dick.
Yeah, I like to think that. Well, I don't like to think either way, but unfortunately, I think it's more mental issues. I don't know. I saw an interview with him back a few years ago, and he was the total opposite. He was giving Roethlisberger all the praise, his players, the blockers, the other receiver. He was naming everyone but himself as far as praise, and that just makes me even more concerned that maybe there's a lot more to him getting hit than we realize.
Yeah, he was definitely a different person, and it's like something, the switch got flipped, and all of a sudden he's trying to be like the NFL Conor McGregor out there attacking trucks and throwing furniture and saying and doing all kinds of crazy stuff.
Yeah. Although if you read some of the articles, like the one in Sports Illustrated, some of the things about Brown have gone back for more than a few years. Like his apparent inability to realize that he has to pay people for services rendered.
Yeah,
so.
That's a good point. That's a good point too.
He's frugal.
Yes, he is. Antonio Brown has definitely become one of our all-time favorites on our news section, Will. And this season, if we had an award for, news article of the year, I'm sure Antonio Brown would be an easy winner at the Fan Jammies. No question about it. What else you got for us, Will?
Well, Moses, you like football movies?
I love football movies. Who doesn't?
You like fish sticks? No, sorry, just kidding.
I love football movies about fish sticks.
Well, there you go.
Yeah.
I can't promise there will be any fish sticks in this one, but in December they will be releasing a movie about the life of Kurt Warner.
Oh, wow.
Yes, Kurt Warner, the Rams quarterback, not Kurt Warner, Seattle's running back, sadly. But 20th Century Fox actually bought the rights to the movie back in 2013, and it looks like it's finally being developed by Lionsgate. It's based off of Warner's memoir, which is called All Things Possible. And the movie is going to be called American Underdog, The Kurt Warner Story. And it's scheduled for a December 18 release.
Interesting.
Yeah, interesting. He was a bagger, wasn't he, or something?
He was at a grocery store when they found him.
Yeah.
Or when they brought him into the league.
Yeah.
Yep. And then NFL Europe and
he was
the Arena League.
He was in training camp with Hasselbeck and them in Green Bay, though.
Yes, he was. Yes, he was.
Yep.
And Northern Iowa, and then he backed up Jake Delhomme over in the World Football League, I think.
Yep.
Yeah.
I still remember the SI cover that came out in about October of '99 when he was just taken off and the Rams were beating the hell out of everybody.
Yeah.
And it just had a picture on it, and the caption was, "Who is this guy?"
No doubt. No doubt. And that, Trent Green going down, and that story, Trent Green going down with an injury. Trent Green might have had the Kurt Warner career if it wasn't for that, because they were starting to gel with him. And then he got his knee hurt in preseason, and I took him out. And Kurt's our guy, Vermeil through tears. Kurt's our guy, and we're going to go with him. And good thing they did, I guess. So strange.
I'd say that worked out pretty well.
It did all right. Yeah, he did all right. It's a neat story. One of my closest friends down here in Indiana looks exactly like Kurt Warner, and so we always say, "Oh, look, Dave's on the screen." I tell him, "Oh, look, Dave's throwing the ball. Oh, look, Dave's talking about football on TV," and he is a big sports fan.
Does his wife look like Brenda?
No, she does not. But which is a good thing for, I think, her. And on that note, while we're talking about wives, let's thanks Will for a wonderful news section. Thank you, Will.
You're very welcome.
And that it will be the end of the first quarter.
It's the end of the first quarter, bitches.
All right, coming up on this special 7th season finale, halftime Fan Jammy Awards. But next, we're going to talk about that Seahawk 2019 season. We'll be right back.
You're listening to the 12-Man Fan Jam Show, a Seahawk Positivity production.
That's the fact, Jack!
Holy shit, it's the second quarter.
Nice.
I made a comment at my Super Bowl party when J-Lo came out. It's like, man, I nearly wore the same outfit. Man, would that have been embarrassing?
Woo. I'll give J-Lo credit. Bless her heart. She definitely put up a hell of a fight. But and I would never, ever kick either out of bed. But let's face it, man. For me, it was Shakira.
I tell you, I mean, it was the show was okay. There were a couple parts where I was kind of like, whoa.
It was entertaining.
Yeah. There's a lot of Spanish, so there's a lot of it where I don't remember Spanish that well, so there's a lot of it where I didn't understand what was being said, but it was very entertaining.
Yeah. We did enjoy the halftime show. And who didn't enjoy the halftime show? That's what I want to know.
I completely forgot about Shakira altogether. I remember her when she came out on her first album, Whenever, Wherever, her first single in English. It's like, oh, wow, she's awesome.
Well, you know, her hips, they don't lie. I don't know if you picked up on that. And hats off to J-Lo. Great halftime show. Both of them. I don't care what anybody says. Very entertaining.
I'm with Dennis. I'm definitely more of a Shakira fan.
Oh, yeah, definitely. I love J-Lo. Don't get me wrong, but Shakira, she brought out a guitar. Game over.
Yeah, and it's crazy. One was 43. The other one's like 50.
Yes.
51 or whatever.
Yes.
Jennifer Lopez looks like she's like in her late 20s still, and Shakira looks like she gets carded for rated R movies.
Oh my God, they both look amazing.
Yeah.
Great halftime show. So if you did not like the halftime show, folks, you know, I don't know what to tell you. I was very entertained. And for those who are complaining, I would like to say this publicly. Have you seen the cheerleaders on the sidelines? That's all I'm saying. If you think that's bad, look at what the cheerleaders are wearing and, you know. But
are you not entertained?
Are you not
entertained?
Are you not entertained? And the Seahawks are very entertaining as we go into quarter 2 of this season and finale of the 12-Man Fan Jam show. We were entertained by the Seahawks this year for sure, almost as much as Shakira and J-Lo. The Seahawks finished with a 12-6 record. They were 8th overall in offense, 26th overall in defense. Dustin, what stood out to you in a good way and a bad way offensively? Let's talk about the offense first.
All right, I'll start on a bad note so we can end on a positive note with the offense. The ability to keep playmakers healthy, I think, was the most disappointing thing for me.
Yeah.
And I kind of wonder, there was talks going into the season about the guy they brought up from USC and how injured they were all the time and how USC was glad to get rid of him because they thought maybe he was part of the problem. And then he comes here and we have tons of injuries. Running backs, tight ends, you know, and then he also had the issues with the, Josh Gordon's drug issue. So, I mean, I think that was the most disappointing thing to me was not being able to keep playmakers on the field due to mainly injury, but then a little bit of off-field activities.
So do you think there's something to that guy being here?
I don't know, potentially. I'm going to have to pay closer attention to that. When I first heard it, I was like, that's not a thing. I'm not too worried about it. But after the way last season went, I'm definitely going to pay more attention to it and look into it and see what I can find out. It piqued my interest.
Then it happened, and Dustin was like,
Yeah, it got my interest.
Some controversy there. Mm-hmm. So let's go good then.
All right. Russell Wilson this year, coming into his prime, taking ownership of everything and just being an all-around stud. He came in there, and it didn't matter really who he had. He was able to make things happen. I mean, we had at the tight end position guys that really should not have been there. Shouldn't have been on the team. We had, Vanette gone, and Disley got injured, and you got Luke Wilson coming back after being cut from the Raiders.
Yeah.
And what's his face in the Patriots?
Hollister.
Why am I blanking on his name?
Hollister,
yeah. A guy who sounds like a T-shirt brand more so than a football player. Who, yeah, and he's out there making him a star. So that hasn't really happened with Russell Wilson for the most part throughout his career. It's been the other guys that were really talented that kind of perception was they were helping him out. This year he was helping those guys out.
I agree.
Making them look good. Rookie DK Metcalf, if he would have went to another team, he might not have had that success. But Russell Wilson had the trust in him, worked with him, and helped make him what he is. So I think that going into the prime years of Russell Wilson's career, there's a lot of upside. So that was really exciting to see.
It was. Well, what are your thoughts overall about the offense this year?
Well, kind of similar to Dustin. It was a shame that some guys couldn't stay healthy. I mean, I love Will Dissly, but he's got to prove that he can stay healthy, and we really missed him down the stretch. That's for sure. But as long as we got Russell Wilson, we've got a chance to win. I mean, the guy's just that good, and he carried us this year. I don't think anybody can legitimately claim otherwise. Mm-hmm. And we did get him a nice shiny new toy in DK Metcalf, and that's going to be fun to watch.
Yes, I think for me the biggest surprise and the most pleasant surprise was DK Metcalf, just from the standpoint that we said on the show he's either going to be a bust or he's going to be a steal, and he was a steal. But not only, the thing that struck me from game one, he came in wearing a Steve Largent jersey to the field, to the game. He has embraced Seattle. He has embraced everything. He is very quiet. He is about as anti-diva as you can get as a young stud receiver coming out of college. And that's what I liked about him the most. So I'm really excited about him next year.
Yeah, he lets his personality shine, but not in a way like a lot of wide receivers do.
Yes.
He's got, the way he does his hair. He's got the binky
thing.
Binky. Yeah, I mean, he lets his personality out there, and he gets it. Like with the Steve Largent thing, that was pretty awesome. And like when you hear him in interviews, he sounds mature way beyond his years, much like Russell Wilson did when he first came in.
Yeah, I was really happy about that. And I think the biggest disappointment was just the health of the running backs. If we, I said this, if we had Carson for sure, if we had Penny, maybe. But if we had Carson, guys, I think we're in the Super Bowl this year. I really do. I think we could have run on Green Bay. I think we could have run on San Francisco. And I think we would have had a much better chance of getting to that Super Bowl with the running backs. But going down to where we had guys coming off the field, and, bless his heart, Homer did his best. Yeah. But he's a 4-string running back. And he was the starter all of a sudden. That just, to me, was just, I would say it's not inexcusable because it's just bad luck. I mean, just bad luck that of a time for both of them to go down right before our biggest games of the year. And
if we could have kept one of them, I would have preferred to keep Carson. And then, just because it was such a fun little ride to have, still bring in Marshawn.
Yeah. Oh yeah. Yeah. But so that was his point. Will, defensively, 26 in the league. You probably got a lot to talk about here, good and bad, huh?
Well, not as much good as I would like, unfortunately. Yeah. So I'm gonna lead off with that. There were a couple of players who really stood out this year. Fortunately, 2 of them we have locked up for next year. One not so much, but I'll go over them really quick. Shaquille Griffin bouncing back after a bad sophomore campaign to get to play in the Pro Bowl. Yes, technically he was an alternate, but he still ended up in the Pro Bowl, so that's a good season.
Yeah.
I think he's really solidified his place as the number 1 corner. Jadeveon Clowney, of course. He was just a wrecking ball when fully healthy. I think that core injury was affecting him more than he let on, but even then he was playing through it and gutting it out, and I was just really impressed by what he was doing. So that was a great pickup. Hoping we can re-sign him. And then Quandre Diggs, getting him mid-season from Detroit for peanuts. I mean, what the hell were the Lions thinking? But you brought him in, and once he was healthy, he made an immediate impact, made a huge playmaker for us. We finally had a safety with the range that similar to what Earl Thomas gave us back in his prime. I mean, Diggs and McDougald are not going to make anybody forget Thomas and Chancellor anytime soon, but a big step up from where we were. And if Marquise Blair can take a step forward and be a strong safety next to Diggs, that's a pretty good pairing right there.
It is. I think what Detroit fans would tell you about Diggs, and the one thing I heard about him, and it did happen, is he can't stay healthy for 16 games. And so they're like, you got him because he's been oft injured. And that's been a problem in Detroit. And unfortunately, it reared its head a little bit on us. But yeah, besides that, that was a steal. No doubt about it.
So, getting onto the bad stuff, there's a few things I could focus on. I was not enamored with our defensive schemes.
Mm-hmm.
Trey Flowers had a middling campaign in the regular season and then just picked a bad time in the postseason to just go off the rails completely.
Agree.
Tedrick Thompson, Lano Hill at the safety position, both have proven their depth at best.
Yeah.
We didn't really have a bona fide slot corner, which, Pete may have waxed on poetically about how much he liked his three linebackers, but let's face it, the reason why he had three linebackers is because we were scrambling to get a slot corner in there.
Very true. Very true. Good point.
But worst of all, against the pass and against the run has got to be the defensive line. I mean, Ziggy Ansah was a disappointment. LJ Collier, he got hurt, but then never showed a thing all year. So who knows what's going to go there. Guys like Rasheem Green and Quentin Jefferson flashed at times, made some plays, but are looking more like rotation guys at this point.
Yeah.
And the biggest disappointment was our run defense. I mean, Jaron Reed missed time with the suspension, but we had Al Woods in there. We had Poona Ford, but still, teams were running the ball on us like crazy.
Yes.
And our defense is predicated on getting the other team's offense into third and long, clamping down on the longer passes, allowing the underneath stuff, and then stopping them short of the first down.
Mm-hmm.
If they're running for 8 yards on first down, that ain't going to work.
Amen.
So we not only need a pure edge rusher, we need to re-sign Clowney, but we also need some run stuffers in the middle because the pass rush obviously needs help, but if the run defense doesn't get fixed, it's not going to matter.
Yeah, I agree 100%. I'm going to put Dustin on the spot here. Dustin, obviously the pass rush was non-existent this year. But I think you could argue that the pass rush is more than just the defensive guys front getting there. It's the defensive backfield being able to hold the water until those guys can get there. Do you think that part of the rush problem was the defensive backfield? And if you do, how much?
To be honest, I don't think that was much of it.
Okay.
Just because you can cover them at first for a couple seconds and you're all right. But the problem is a lot of times we weren't getting close to the quarterback at all.
Yeah.
So they were having plenty of time to hang out back there, sit down, have a sip of their margarita, stand up, find a receiver, and then throw the ball.
So why is that, guys? We got Jaron Reed, we had Clowney, we had Ziggy Ansah. Why weren't they getting to the quarterback, guys?
I don't know.
Will,
it's got to be something scheme-wise. Part of it might be with what we're talking about with the two linebackers versus the nickel. I mean, that changes the look every time.
Yeah.
I don't know.
Yeah. I think personally, I think Ansah's done. I don't think he has anything left. Clowney, he is the Michael Bennett role. He's the guy who's going to be a wrecking ball on the right side of the line. He needs a pure edge rusher on the other side of the line opposite him.
Yeah. And
you pair that with the fact that, he was our only consistent pass rush threat, so teams could focus on him, and he had the injury. And Jaron Reed, the question's got to be asked, did he just overachieve last year when he got the 10 sacks?
You have to wonder. You have to start wondering, or did he just not come in the shape that we thought he would come in after being off for the games? I don't know.
Either way, it lowers his price tag as far as I'm concerned for this year.
Absolutely. It absolutely does. Listen, we'll, overall, we'll talk about our favorite memory in the fourth quarter of this season, but overall, they did overachieve. I think a lot of people thought they would win maybe 8 or 9, and they won 11. They did have at one point when they beat San Francisco, people started talking about him as a legitimate Super Bowl threat. And like I said, had they not lost all 3 starting running backs, maybe they would have still had that thought of a legitimate Super Bowl threat. This makes us look better for next year, so it's something to look forward to. Let's go ahead and end the second quarter right there.
Holy shit, it's halftime!
All right, we're off to halftime. So much more show. Is Patrick Mahomes for real? Is Jimmy Garoppolo who we thought he was? And can anyone get Statsman mark more tokens? Yes, all these answers and so much more just around the corner. But coming up next, it's the 7th annual 12-Man Fan Jam Show Awards. And that is next!
You're listening to the 12-Man Fan Jam Show, a Seahawk Positivity production.
Yes! Live from, well, pretty much everywhere. It's the 7th annual 12-Man Fan Jam Show Awards. I'm your master of ceremonies, Moses, and we are here to salute another great Seahawks season by taking the best of the very best and giving them what we call a Fan Jammy. I'm so glad you could all be here, ladies and gentlemen. Thank you for coming to our awards show. Let's give it up for the band. Yes. Thank you, band. Wonderful, wonderful job. The 12-Man Fan Jam Show Orchestra, ladies and gentlemen. They're always here. Oh, you're a beautiful audience. Stop it. Knock it off. All right. You're a beautiful audience, and I'm so glad everybody's here. Wherever who's here, we're missing half our people. And it's too bad because I think even three of us could still kick the Cleveland Browns butt, but we'll move on. Before we start, I do want to send my heartfelt condolences to the Niner Nation. Well, it's not really heartfelt, but hey. Yeah, better luck next year unless you still have Jimmy Garoppolo, and then you are screwed, my friends. You are screwed. All right. It was nice seeing some former Seahawks get their just reward from the Super Bowl, like Frank Clark. Frank Clark won a Lombardi, and Richard Sherman got burned. So karma strikes again. I kid Richard Sherman. I love him. I do. Best defensive back to play in a Seahawk uniform ever, and he played really well for the Chiefs on Super Bowl Sunday. But that's another story. I'm just kidding. All right. I see the posse. Half of you made it. Matt's not here because he's too busy about Brexit. I still don't know what the hell Brexit is. It sounds like a new snack cracker. I'd like a Brexit with cheese, please. Matt is always up late for our show. We appreciate his sacrifice when he sleeps. When he doesn't sleep, well, it doesn't worry because he's not really sleeping by anybody. But we appreciate everything Matt does, and we appreciate Mark. He's not here. I guess some of those tokens were from a loan shark. I didn't know, or either that or he is drowning in the tears of 49er faithful. But we do have two very important posse members here. First, everybody, once again, Will is here. Will, it's so good to see you, and you look very dressed up for the award show. We appreciate that.
But of course, don't hate me because I'm beautiful.
No, we won't. We were lucky we were able to pull Will away from rewriting the last Star Wars movie because he wouldn't have laser cats in it. But we pulled him away for that for just a moment.
Would have been a classic.
It would have been.
Love laser cats.
And Dustin, again, he's here. Dustin, you look great, man. At least you think.
Thank you, appreciate it.
I think you look great.
Outfit, so.
Yeah, I can't see you without a magnifying glass, but I'm sure you look great. I don't want to say anything.
Appreciate it, thanks.
Well, Dustin's so short he hits his head on the floor when he sneezes. I'm just saying, you can see his feet on the driver's license. All right? Sorry. And he has our mascot, Kona. Kona, the 12-Man Fan Jam Show honorary mascot. She is one picky little dog. She would rather crap on the floor than go outside, so she is just like Dustin at happy hour. But we move on.
Only when it rains.
Only when it rains, yes. Before we start the show, we would like to, the award show, we'd like to tell you how these winners were actually chosen in the process. People around the world voted on the 12-Man Fan Jam Show Facebook page. In each of the categories, those votes were then tabulated. The list of winners was placed in a sealed envelope. That envelope was then placed in an old empty peanut butter jar, put into a lock safe. That safe was then placed inside a larger safe and transported to the tiny Republic of Togo and buried in their military cemetery in an unmarked grave. I can say this. It's then dug up in the middle of the night by a gravedigger named Bill, flown by private jet to Seattle, Washington, and placed on top of the Space Needle. From there, it's picked up and sent across the country by drone, right here to Seahawk Positivity Productions, where it is then placed by me in a room without windows to sit protected by a MAGA-wearing redneck named Billy Joe Jim Bob. I then throw in a picture of Elton John and his spouse kissing to cause Billy Joe Jim Bob to hide his eyes in embarrassment, and while he is averting his eyes to the abomination to God, he declares that picture to be. I tiptoe into the room, grab the envelopes, and bring them here with me to the awards show. So, that's how this is all done.
Still better than the Iowa caucuses.
Oh, still better than the Iowa caucuses. Nice. Our first award this evening goes to Best Offensive Player of the Year, and no, Jermaine Ifedi is not on that list. So, Offensive Player of the Year for the Seahawks. The nominations are Chris Carson, Tyler Lockett, DK Metcalf, and Russell Wilson. And the Fan Jammy for Offensive Player of the Year goes to, I'm sure it's no surprise, it is Russell Wilson. Russell Wilson, Offensive Player of the Year. Congrats. Russell, come on up here. Oh, he's not. Whoa. He and Sierra. Yeah, you can't get them apart, can you? I understand. Okay, so he's not here, so accepting for him will be our own Dustin. Dustin, would you like to accept the Russell Wilson Award, please?
Absolutely. He wanted me to pass along a few words. Here's what he said. My dad used to wake me up at 5:30 in the morning to practice, and he'd tell me, don't be afraid to excel. I took that to heart. And when I used to dream about all the things I wanted to accomplish, the first thing I thought of was the Fan Jammies. I wasn't sure if I'd ever be able to win one. But then I thought, why not me? Why not me holding the Fan Jammy trophy? And after years of not sleeping, nano bubbles, and separating by preparating, I finally made it to the top. I'd like to thank Golden Tate. Without him, I would have never married Sierra. I'd like to thank all of my sponsors because paying an entire medical staff to follow me everywhere and all the people that meal prep for me is expensive. And I'd also like to thank those who voted for me to win this award. R.I.P. Paul Allen, and go Hawks.
Yeah, all right. Dustin, well done. Great award to a great man. And of course, we all feel that way about the Fan Jammies. So we understand completely where he's going with there. All right. Now it's time for Defensive Player of the Year. Defensive Player of the Year, your nominations are Jadeveon Clowney, Quandre Diggs, Shaquille Griffin, and Bobby Wagner. And the Fan Jammy for Defensive Player of the Year goes to... It's Bobby Wagner! Congratulations, Bobby. Accepting for Bobby Wagner will be Will. Will, come on up here, buddy. You look great. Accept this for Bobby Wagner, if you would, please, sir.
Mr. Wagner asked me to pass along the following. I wish to thank no one because you were all against me. I hear all the snide remarks about our defense. I saw what we did this year. I promise you, we are going to bounce back next year and be a holy terror. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Will. Bobby Wagner, Defensive Player of the Year for the Seahawks Fan Jammy. And now, all right, that's enough. Thank you. And now, award for Newcomer of the Year. And the nominations are Jadeveon Clowney, Quandre Diggs, Mike Iupati, and DK Metcalf. And the winner of Newcomer of the Year it's DK Metcalf. And a sort of separating for that was going to be Matt. But unfortunately, when Matt heard it was Newcomer of the Year, he went a different direction and he's not here. So I will accept it for DK Metcalf. I'm sure DK would not say much because he doesn't say much usually. He's very quiet. He would thank everyone around him. And he would probably take his shirt off and flex for the girls. And Matt would appreciate that as well. And then he would walk off and probably challenge somebody to a push-up contest backstage. So, again, congratulations, DK Metcalf. Well done. Fan Jammy for Newcomer of the Year. All right, next. Thank you. Game of the Year. Your nominations are Seahawks 27, 49ers 24. Seahawks 27, Cardinals 10. Seahawks 27, Falcons 20. And the Seahawks 37, Vikings 30. And the winner of the Fan Jammy this year for Game of the Year Oh, you know what it is. It's the 49er game. Beating the 49ers on national television in San Francisco. How's it get any better than that? Accepting as me. I would like to thank the 49ers for getting their ass kicked by the Seahawks on national television when they were 9-0, and they thought they knew everything. And the Seahawks came down, were able to just absolutely kick their ass in a really well-played game. I'm looking forward to next year as well, and kicking their ass twice next year. All right. So enough of that. Now we have more awards. Excuse me. I'm getting a little choked up. All right. Every year here on the show, we make predictions, prognostications, and we give game balls for each Seahawk game. And then we match our picks from the show with 5 other people. There are 5 of us, and we had 5 other people challenge us in what we call a friendly competition that's known as the Posse Prediction Challenge. Now, we've done this 4 times. The first 3 times, the team that was not our team, Team Posse. Team Posse is, of course, myself, Matt, Mark, Dustin, and Will. And then Team 12, our listeners, my son, Little Mo, Jose Rodriguez, or Josie Rodriguez, Mike Pascal, Tom Lucas, and Mark Ty Turner. They have won the first 3 in a row. So this was the 4th year we did this. But this year, there will be no 4P, gentlemen, because the final score, Team 12 122, but Team Posse 142. Yes, our new 12-man show Posse Prediction Challenge champions are Team Posse. That's right. Statsman Mark, Will, Dustin, Matt, and me. Gentlemen, would you like to say something? Dustin, go ahead. Take the mic and accept this award real quick.
Thank you. I appreciate everybody for participating. It allowed my team to win.
Yeah.
Which I like doing. And having Russell Wilson not be the answer every week was probably a good idea. So
I think so too.
Yeah.
I think so too. Will?
Well, the separation was in the preparation.
Enough said. And I will just say, we finally made it, guys. We finally won the challenge. So now
4th time's the charm.
Yes, but there's another award because we do individual scores and we do team scores. So we give an award for the Posse Prediction Challenge overall champion individual. So to do that, we have to look at the scores. And we'll start at the bottom. And since there was a tie, the last place is 9th, not 10th, because there's a tie. In 9th place and last place is last year's champion Jose with 20, which is weird. From best to worst. 8th place was Mark Ty Turner with 21. 7th place was Will with 23. Tie for 6th between Matt and Tom at 24. Little Mo at 5th with 28. I was 4th with 29. Dustin was 3rd with 31.
Hey, that's bronze.
Congratulations, Will. Or Dustin, you got the bronze medal.
Thank you.
The silver goes. You did. Mike Pascal gets the silver at 33. And ladies and gentlemen, the winner of the individual score for the prediction challenge, Statsman Mark at 35. Ladies and gentlemen, Statsman Mark. And as you know, Statsman Mark cannot be here, but if he was here, I'm sure he would say it's an unbelievable lamp moment, and that Lamp Hawk is very proud, and he can't wait for next season to do what Jose did this year, which is go from first to worst. So I'm sure he's looking forward to that, and we're looking forward to next year's challenge as well. We certainly hope it continues as we go for season 5. Now, final award has to do with what usually happens at halftime. We have our 12-man Fan Jam Show halftime trivia.
Of the world.
And not including 701, which was actually to break the tie from season 6. If you remember, episode 701, Dustin and Matt were tied for the season 6 trivia champion, so we had a playoff.
Right.
So that doesn't count into your wins. So that doesn't count into the wins for this season. And I also, in good faith, because Matt had we had some controversy or controversy in episode 713's trivia where he threw a challenge flag. I'm going to throw that winner and that show out. So no 713 was involved in calculating a winner for this season.
That was me, wasn't it?
So we've had 22 halftime trivia contests this season. And we'll start with we'll go from the bottom. In last place with 3 victories is Statsman Mark. Congratulations, Mark. In third place with 5 victories is Will, which leaves us now with 2 people. We have Matt and we have Dustin, as usual. Seems like always. The champion for season 7 for 12-man Fan Jam halftime trivia, winning by a score of 8 victories to 6, is Dustin. Congratulations, Dustin. You have done it again.
Thank you. I'm just waiting for my music, but that's cool. I'm going to hear dogs barking probably is what I'm actually going to hear.
It's gone to the dogs. Congratulations, Dustin. Well done.
I appreciate it.
You
go
get
faster barked over, so thank everybody. I'm just going to mute my mic because I keep hearing dogs in the background. Sorry.
It's gone to the dogs.
Who let the dogs out really needs to be his winning song for
that.
Next year.
We might pull that next year, and you know the show's gone to the dogs, and so has our award show. So there it is, the 7th annual 12-man Fan Jam show, Fan Jammy Awards. You're all a great group, and what a great show, and we finished right on time as we always do with our awards show. So we'll take a little break here. We'll come back. We'll change into something less formal. And then we'll return with the second half of your 12-man Fan Jam show. Thank you all for another wonderful award show. And we will be right back.
You're listening to the 12-man Fan Jam show. A Seahawk Positivity production.
Everyone in this room is now dumber for having listened to it.
Holy shit, it's the third quarter.
All right, it is the third quarter of your 7th season finale, 12-man Fan Jam show. Quick program reminder, it looks like our first show will be of the new season. Season 8 will only be a month away. Probably looking around March 6th. So be checking 12-man Fan Jam show Facebook page for updates on that. 801, our 8th season. Unbelievable, our 8th season of doing this show. It's been basically the same group for 8 seasons. It's been unbelievable. We're very blessed. And we'll talk about that more in the fourth quarter. But look for season 8, 801, to start about March 6th. And then we usually do one about once a month until camp time. And then we do one before exhibition. Preseason starts. And then we'll do one after the preseason. That'll take us right back into another wonderful season of Seahawk football. So just wanted to give you a little update there. Now, the third quarter, we're going to play a little game. Of course, free agency is about to happen. And when the season ends, a lot of Seahawk players become unrestricted free agents. So I tried to pair up some unrestricted free agents and pair them up and tell the guys, I'm sorry, but you can only keep one. And a little thing we like to call, there can be only one.
There can be only one. Oh my.
Yes, there can be only one. The game where we put 2 Seahawk players against each other. The players have to face off, and we decide which one stays and which one leaves the team. So I flipped a coin here, unbeknownst to the 2 posse members. Dustin, you're going first. Dustin, there could be only one.
Okay.
Oh my.
Jermaine Ifedi or George Fant? Jermaine Ifedi or George Fant?
Come on now, man. Do I even need to answer?
That's a
This
mystery.
is which one we're keeping, right? Not which one we're dipping in like the Nickelodeon slime and shit.
Yeah, that's a tough decision, isn't it?
Yeah, we're gonna keep Fant. We're going Fant on this one.
Oh, okay. Really? Okay. I'm
Yeah.
kind of shocked. Do you agree with him, Will?
Works for me if he wants to play right tackle.
Right. Okay. I'm looking for that. I'm looking for that end around by Fant. It's gonna happen.
So awesome.
Yeah, no jet sweep this year.
No
damn
jet
it.
sweep. Yeah, it's gonna happen. Yeah, I'm with you on that. Okay, here's a little tougher one. Will, you ready?
Bring
Well,
it.
there can be only one.
There can be only one. Oh my.
Al Woods or Quentin Jefferson? Al Woods
You
or
say
Quentin
what?
Jefferson?
I'd go Q Jeff. Better
Hugh Jeff.
better value, can play tackle or end, and has a bit of a pass rush presence. Good rotational guy, so more versatile.
Hugh Jeff. You know him personally.
Oh yeah, we're like this.
All right. Yeah, put
The
your
only
legs.
downside to that
put your
one
legs
is that
together
doesn't
as
help
well.
the run game as much, or run defense
So
as
who
much.
would you pick, Dustin?
It depends, because Woods got popped for
No.
drugs there.
No, there's no depend here. One goes and one stays. You must decide because, as we say, there can be only one. So you have to pick.
Oh my.
All right, I'll side with you on this then.
All right. Yeah, I'm going with Jefferson too. A little bit younger, a little bit more versatile, and was able to get to the quarterback this year, which is kind of nice. All right.
That is a good thing.
Yeah, Dustin.
Yep.
There can be only one.
There can be only one. Oh my.
Joey Hunt or Mike Iupati? I think
Ooh.
this is tougher than you think.
Yeah.
Because
that
you might go,
really
well,
is.
Iupati was a Pro Bowler, blah, blah. But he's a little older, and Joey really came into a nice job, and Britt is getting to the point where he's going to need a contract. Isn't he? Or is he?
Well, he's got an $8 million cap hit, so.
Yeah, right. That's it. The cap hit. So, this is a tough one.
It is, because Joey played when we needed him to.
Yeah.
Iupati was hurt a lot.
Yeah.
He can't stay healthy. Joey, on the other hand, if you run any kind of bull rush up the middle, likes to lay on his back and watch football.
He does. He does. He does like to. He likes to play from his back.
I'll
what?
keep Joey.
I would
Joey.
love to see a scouting report on a lineman when bull rushed likes to play from his back.
Yeah.
That would be
That's
awesome.
probably what it would be.
Oh my God. Someone, we need to make up next, we need to do a fake scouting report on players.
There you
That
go.
could be fun.
Jermaine Ifedi, constant penalty machine.
No, he's punctual. He's early.
Oh, that would be awesome. All right, I'm sorry. Will, I agree. Oh, Will, do you agree with him? I'm going with Joe. Who'd you go with, Joey? I'm going with Joey.
Yeah.
The best ability is availability.
Yeah.
Hunt's got it. Iupati is breaking down. So
Well,
I go
and I
Joey.
think we've got some guards that could maybe hold their own a little bit, especially next to Dwayne Brown. So
Phil Haynes didn't look half bad in that playoff game.
he did not. I agree. Here's yours, Will. There can be only one.
There can be only one. Oh my.
Michael Kendricks or Akeem King?
I think I go Kendricks for two reasons, assuming he's not in the slammer.
Right.
King had an opportunity to step up and really take the slot corner job and didn't do it. And keeping Kendricks, maybe we can move him to the other linebacker position and let KJ Wright go.
Yeah.
I don't want to see KJ Wright go, but I think it's time.
Yeah, it might be
KJ
time.
Wright can't go. He was on House Hunters. He just bought a house here last season.
Oh,
I'm
dear.
sorry. Done deal, man. No.
Yeah, he's staying.
Dustin, you agree, disagree?
Yeah, I think that's the right call.
Yeah, I do too. All right. Dustin, you got an easy one, probably, I think. You're going to go, well, I don't know.
There can be only one. Oh my.
I think this one's tougher than you think.
Okay.
Jerron Reed or Jadavian Clowney? I know the obvious answer is, Clowney's a superstar. But now, listen, Jerron Reed is younger. Jerron Reed, I don't know. Who do you pick?
You gotta go Clowney with this. I know Reed. He's more durable. He plays more games, but he still didn't have nearly as much of an impact on the team as an injured Clowney did. So you got to go with the guy that makes an impact and keep Clowney, and then hope that they can. Maybe Russell Wilson can hire some people to follow him around and make sure he's okay all the time, and maybe that'll make him a little bit better off.
That would be super. That would be super. Will, you agree, Clowney? I think you're going to go Clowney, aren't you?
Yeah, if Jerron Reed had his 2018 season last year and had 10 sacks, I'd have a harder time with it. But no, Clowney had a bigger impact. I think you got to go with him.
Clowney is an elite, can be an elite edge rusher, even though you didn't show it so much. But you can't let those guys go. You can't have too many of those, and you've got to have one that's elite like him. So
the guy played through a crap ton of pain and was out there every play that he was physically able to be out there for.
I agree.
You want guys like that on your team.
He had a ton of heart, and he was disruptive when he wasn't at his best.
And something he did more here than I ever saw at Houston, and I talked about it on a show where his high school coach said, "Oh my God, him and Carroll are a perfect fit because we haven't seen it in Houston." But Clowney smiled and was happy almost the entire time I saw him on the field in a Seahawk uniform.
He seemed to like to be here quite a bit.
He really did enjoy it, and that coach said him and Carroll are a perfect pair. He said, you didn't see it in Houston, but Jadeveon's always laughing. He's always having a good time. He's enthusiastic. He said he is Pete Carroll as a player. So it's perfect fit. I hope it stays. We'll see. Final one, Will, I believe.
Yeah.
There can be only one.
Oh my.
Last one. Luke Wilson or Nico Thorpe?
Love Wilson. I'm going Thorpe. Solid depth in the defensive backfield and Pro Bowl caliber special teamer.
I don't disagree with that. Dustin?
Yeah, it's got to be Thorpe. Wilson, it was fun to have him back. It was kind of a throwback year with him and Marshawn coming back, but the nostalgia's over. We got to move on.
Yeah, I'm with you. I'm with you on that too. Same reason. Love Luke, but I think Nico's very valuable as team. All right. That is the end of the third quarter.
It's the end of the third quarter, bitches.
Coming up next, it's our final quarter of our final episode of the 7th season. Goodbyes, thank yous, and favorite memories from this last season of Seattle Seahawk football. You are listening and watching the 12-Man Fan Jam show, where your dreams come true if they involve hearing a lot of Seahawk fans laugh at childish jokes. We'll be right back after this.
You're listening to the 12-Man Fan Jam show, a Seahawk Positivity production.
If there's a better use for the internet, I haven't found it.
Holy shit, it's the fourth quarter.
All right, it's the final quarter of the final 7th season finale of your 12-Man Fan Jam show. Time to go a look back at the season and give our final thanks. We will start with Dustin. Dustin, a favorite memory, and if there's anybody or anything you want to thank for season 7, the floor is yours, sir.
All right, thank you. That's my first thanks, I guess, is to Dennis for allowing me to speak now.
There you go. You're welcome.
But favorite memory by far, hands down, has to be when the Griffin twins got that sack.
Great memory.
Dude, that was so awesome. I jumped up so excited. It's like I said, I have twins. They have Shaquem and Shaquille jerseys, and Shaquem kept teasing us all year with the sack. He'd just be right in the area and just didn't quite get it. And then when it finally happened, it was him and his brother at the same time, and that was just awesome. Mm-hmm. It's like Wonder Twin powers.
That was awesome. It couldn't have been really better. Cool.
And then for a thank you, John Schneider. Going into this season, he brought in Jadeveon Clowney. He brought in Diggs. Draft class was really good. Brought in a lot of fun players there. And then in the middle of the season, brought in Diggs. That man worked everything he possibly could to try and help this team win. And yeah, I'm so thankful he's our GM and that he does what he does and goes about it the way he does. Because you always hear people talk about how he's a stand-up guy. He's not not hard to deal with. So I appreciate him a lot.
Yeah, good. Well done, Will.
Well, I had a couple of moments. One of them had to have been watching that 49ers game on TV, because actually the fun part about that was I muted the actual TV broadcast and listened to the radio.
There you go.
Which was actually 3 seconds ahead of the TV broadcast, which is really weird. But my favorite memory for this year is a no-brainer, and it's got to be Marshawn Lynch coming back.
Yes.
He wasn't the beast mode of old. I mean, he wasn't running for 100 yards and everything, but just seeing it in the fourth quarter of that 49er game, just plow into the end zone, and people were throwing Skittles, and the stadium going nuts, and, beast mode touchdown. I never thought I was ever going to see that again. And just if this turns out to be his farewell tour with Seattle, which it probably is, I'm just thankful I got to see him play for the Seahawks one more time.
Excellent.
That was a lot of fun.
Yeah, it was. That was a lot of fun. Any thank yous for the season or anything?
Well, not to suck up, but I would like to thank Moses for all the work he puts into this thing week after week.
Well,
I mean, we just sit here and blather on about whatever. He's got to make chicken salad out of this every single time we do a podcast.
And I don't like chicken salad, but yes, no.
So thanks for all the extra time you put in to get this thing out there to our dozens of listeners.
Yeah, I appreciate that. Thank you. We try to be funny on this show and goofy and light. But, at the end of this season, we do like to legitimately and sincerely thank people and talk about our favorite memories.
I love you, man.
I know, I love you too, man. It's kind of a serious time. My favorite memory this season I look back on this and this is so surreal because it's funny. Some of my most monumental memories involving the Seahawks involve losses. Steve Largent catching his 100th touchdown pass in Cincinnati. I was there. They lost. Didn't they lose that game? I think they did.
They did. Don't live in Cleveland. You live in Cincinnati.
My first game in Seattle ever and a home crowd was a loss to the Rams. And this one goes with those. And this is the absolute surreal feeling of seeing the entire posse together for a weekend. We all got together, and of course, we lost against the Ravens. But that memory of all of us, the posse, all 5 of us, for the first time ever in 7 years we've been doing this show, we had never all 5 been in the same room together. To be in the same room together, to do a show together, to go out and eat together, to talk about the game together. To me, that is a memory that goes far beyond football, and that's why I do what I do. That's why I am such a Seahawk fan, because the Seahawk fans I've met, including you guys, you're family. You're not just friends. You're not just fans, and that's why I love the Seahawks so much, because the people I've met through that team have meant the world to me. So I want to thank everyone and anyone who listens to this show. We do enjoy making it. We do it for free. We don't get paid for it. We try to be amusing and informative. We're just a bunch of schleps with a mic. We don't know any more than any of you. We just try to have fun on our show. We try to be more Saturday Night Live and less 60 Minutes. There are people out there with podcasts that are way more informative and way more knowledgeable about football than we are. We just want to have a goofy little show and have fun. We try to be, amusing and informative as much as we can. If you've ever smiled or you've ever grinned about the show, I want to thank you for that. And if we've offended you, our deepest apologies. We are a bunch of idiots. What can I say? To my family who allowed me to take Friday nights and record this show and Saturday to put it together, I want to thank them. I want to thank the dogs. And last and certainly never least is the posse themselves. You guys put up with me, bugging you all season. Your time and effort into this show makes the show what it is. You guys are not just my friends. You are your brothers. And I'm always grateful, eternally grateful, that you're not just on this show, but you're in my life. And I'm truly blessed. Truly blessed reverend of Seahawk positivity, if you would. So, gentlemen, the 2 that are here and the 2 that are not, I want to thank you all from the bottom of my heart. And we look forward to 8th season. It's going to be a lot of fun. A lot more goofiness coming your way. So, looks like it's time to bring this wonderful and amazing 12-man Fan Jam show season to a close. We're so glad you decided to waste some time with us during the year. We certainly hope that you laughed a little bit during the season and just maybe you learned a little something. So what did we learn this season? Well, we learned that Statsman Mark likes big spreads. We learned that Dustin likes the Transformers because they are truly more than meets the eye, Dennis. We learned that Matt from Merry Old England likes tight ends, and he likes his nuts. He likes to eat his nuts and crunch his nuts. We'll talk about that later. And, of course, Will likes Bill O'Reilly. Who doesn't? Or likes doing an imitation of Bill O'Reilly, because we're going to go live. F it. So on behalf of my partner in crime, Matt, wherever he is, our Newshound, Shadowhawk Will, Statsman Mark, wherever he is, Dustin as the Beaver, Roger Goodell, Mosette, Little Mo, Mike Pascal, Mark Ty Turner, Jose, Tom, Jimmy Garoppolo, Pat Mahomes, Andy Reid, John Lynch, Bill O'Reilly, Antonio Brown. This is Moses saying until next season, as always, Go Hawks!
Go
Go
Hawks!
Hawks!
See you next season.